Video is on the next topic of the third unit, that is load flow analysis. We have seen about the introduction of load flow analysis of power system in our last class. We had the necessity of load flow, what is the data that we are going to obtain from load flow, and what are the methods of load flow generally followed by the utilities, etc. That and all we have seen. Now we will see the methods of load flow. In firstly, the first method, that is Gauss-Seidel method, that we will see, and next we will go for other methods. See, this and all we have seen. Load flow study is the most frequently carried out type of study by the utilities for various purposes. For different purposes, load flow is generally carried out. So that is the reason why this is important. In addition to this, this is also useful for data preparation of other studies also. Next, this also we have seen the main data results that we are going to obtain from load flow studies are these: reactive and active power flow in all the lines, and magnitude and phase angle of all bus voltages. Next, data for load flow. To start load flow problem, we need mainly two types of data. One is Y bus data and other is bus specifications, that means operating conditions at the buses. These two we have to acquire this data. As far as the bus data is concerned, the buses, depending on the values given and depending upon the values that we are going to determine by load flow, the buses are classified like this: PQ bus or load bus, where real power P and reactive power Q are given, voltage magnitude and voltage angle of bus is to be determined. Next, generator bus or PV bus, here P and V are given, Q and delta. Delta means bus voltage angle. Q and delta are to be determined. Slack bus is the reference bus for bus voltage angles. At this bus voltage magnitude and bus voltage angle is given. P and Q are to be obtained. As it is the reference bus, this angle must be 0, should be 0. No need to specify separately. As we have said that this bus is the reference bus for voltages, obviously its angle will be 0 and remaining bus angles will be expressed with respect to this bus. This and all we have seen. Though there are chances of performing load flow by using Y bus method and Z bus method, Y bus is advantageous, so we follow Y bus method. And we have also seen how Y bus is to be constructed, and before to that, how a given system is to be modeled, that is suitable for carrying out load flow. How a given system can be modeled, that also we have seen, and based on the final model we can now easily construct Y bus. We have seen one example also. All these things we have seen. Now in today's lecture, how the load flow equations or load flow problem is to be prepared or formulated, that we will see. Though it is simply the solution of electrical network, but because of its complexity in terms of the parameters specified at the buses, and in terms of Y bus, that means admittances elements of the system, it is somewhat different from normal electrical network that we have seen in our previous courses. That is the reason why the method or the problem is to be formulated. We will see now how the problem or equations are to be formulated, that are to be solved. For that, consider this equation in admittance form and in node basis. The equation, the performance equation, this is a matrix equation, is written like this: I bus equal to Y bus into V bus. I bus equal to Y bus into V bus. This is a matrix equation. That equation is nothing but this equation. You see this equation. For this system, if you write nodal equations at all the buses, and if you arrange those nodal equations in matrix form, you will get finally these equations. I1 equal to Y11 V1 plus Y12 V2 plus Y13 V3 plus Y14 V4. Similarly I2. Like that, if all are expressed in matrix form, this is nothing but I bus, column maps. I bus equal to Y bus into V bus. This is the performance section. This is already known to you. Same thing written here. You see here, I bus equal to Y bus into V bus. In this, there are I bus means I1, I2, I3 like that column matrix. Y bus means it's a square matrix, and V bus is also column matrix of node voltages, and that contains V1, V2, so on up to Vn. So for an n bus system, the size of this equation is n by n. Now this equation just now I have seen in the upper part, and in this any one term I1, how it can be written we have seen. I1 Y11 V1 plus Y12 V2 plus Y13 V3 plus Y14 V4. Similarly I2 means Y21 V1, Y22 V2, Y23 V3, Y24 V4. In general, any network, any current I, here we are having 4 currents. In general I, how it can be written? Y1 V1 plus Y2 V2, so on. That is written here, you see. Generalized from I equal to Y1 V1 plus Y2 V2, so on up to n. In summation, by using sigma, same thing written like this. Here we represent this is I, this is K, not appearing clearly. This is K equal to 1 to n. We consider a system of having n buses. So therefore, this equation, as I just now said, n by 1, n by n. So n number of elements will be there in this equation. That is the reason we have taken summation of n terms. So for sigma k equal to 1 to n, this is yik and this is vk. So if we expand this is nothing but, for example, if I equal to taken as 1, then we will get y11 v1 plus y12 v2 plus so on y1n vn, like that. If I is 2, y21 v1 v plus y22 v2, so on. So this is nothing but that equation just now we have seen, and in this equation one component of this I can be written like this. Hope you are all clear this. These are all useful that we are going to obtain many times in our discussion. This is the general performance equation of the given network in nodal form, nodal equations form, and this is one current from this equation, ith term of this equation. These two will be getting continuous. Okay. Now this equation, in this equation and in this summation, ith term is taken out, yii vi. If ith term is taken out, the summation will become like this: k equal to I to n, and k is not equal to I except I. Why? Because ith term is here, it's taken out. So k is not equal to I and remaining is same. Like that, this is written in modified form. And from this equation, II, this equation. So this is taken this side and simplified, and from this we have written Vi, expression for bus voltage Vi. From this is nothing but Ii by Yii plus minus. This will go this side. 1 by Yii like this. Now we know that this is the Vi conjugate into Ii, or V conjugate I is the complex power. Complex power equal to V into I conjugate or V conjugate into I. If it is V conjugate into I, its terms will be this real term and imaginary, P minus J. So this is nothing but complex power expression. This is known. And from this II is this. Now we substitute II here in this. II is substituted in this expression. So finally this expression will take is this form, Vi equal to II, by making use of this and this. So this is the expression. Note that this expression is obtained from this ith term, II, that means current expression. Only thing we have written for bus voltage V. Now you see this equation 4, this is equation 4. Above are the load flow equation, where bus voltage are the variables. Here this is the voltage of ith bus. Vi means voltage of ith bus. If there are n number of buses, we will be having n such equations, V1, V2, so on, Vn. So n number of bus voltage equations. All these n number of equations are called as load flow equations. This is the form of equations for Gauss-Seidel method. This is for Gauss-Seidel method, you remember, where there are n number of such equations where bus voltage are all the variables. It can be seen that the load flow equations are non-linear and they can be solved by iterative method. The iterative methods are Gauss method and Gauss-Seidel method. Gauss-Seidel method is the advanced version of Gauss method, so therefore Gauss-Seidel method is used. The static load flow equation is somewhat different, that we will see later. Right now we will skip this particular section, Gaussian static load flow equation and approximate load flow solution, that we will see later. We will now straight away go to this Gauss-Seidel method. To understand the Gauss-Seidel method, let us have this discussion. You see, consider three equations in three variables, that is for example a11x1 plus a12x2 plus a13x3 equal to b1, that is one equation. a21x1 plus a22x2 plus a23x3 equal to b2, that is second expression. Like that, a31x1 plus a32x2 plus a33x3 equal to b3, third equation. From these three equations, x1 is taken out, taken to LHS and simplified with the first equation will be this, and from second equation x2 is taken to LHS, then that is in this same. Just now what I said, the three equations are written in terms of x1, x2, x3 like this. So if these are the equations, Gauss-Seidel method consists of assuming some initial values. Gauss-Seidel method is an iterative method, and the method goes like this. First you assume some initial values. You assume, based on the previous knowledge, assume some values for this x1, x2, x3. Here our final aim is to determine the values of variables x1, x2, x3. For that purpose, first assume some value. This is called initial assumption or initial guess. Let those assumed values are x10, x20, x3 are initial. These assumed values are substituted here in the RHS in place of x2 and x3. First x2 substitute with x20 and x3 by x3 0. If we substitute x20 and x3 0 and calculate this expression, we will get some value for this. This is the new value. Why? Because with the assumed values we calculated the value using this equation. So we will getting new value, that is x1 1. You see this x1 1. Here x2 0, x2 substitute and we calculate. Now go for second equation. Here substitute x1. x1 is here. Just now we calculated in the above previous equation. So that you substitute here in the second equation, x1 1. It is here. Same thing, this equation is written here. But in place of x1, as we have calculated a fresh value of x1, that is substituted. And x3 0. Substitute x3 0 initial value. So substitute this and this, calculate this next second variable x2 and designate this as x2 of 1 fresh value. So like that we make use of this equation, calculated x1 1, this is, and we also make use of second equation, calculated x2 of 1. Now go for third equation. In third equation x1 1 is available, calculated here. x2 1 is also available, calculated here. Substitute these two, x2 1 1 and x2 1. Calculate x3 of 1, third variable also, x3 of 1. So like that, by substituting fresh values, and in the second equation by substituting one new value, fresh value, and for this old value, that means initial value, calculate this like this. Like this, calculate all the three variables. This constitute one iteration. This is known as one iteration. You proceed like this, second iteration, third iteration, and so on, until up to what point you have to calculate these iterations. At each iteration you have to check the difference of the values x1 1 and x1 0. This is x1 1 and previous value is x1 0. Check the difference for this variable also, x2 1 and previous value x2 0. Or for example, if you are in the third iteration, check x2 of 3 and x2 of 2, the difference. Similarly, for all the variables, check the difference. If this difference is 0 or very less value, then you can stop the iteration. It means what? The values are not changing for each and every iteration. The values are not changing. It is nothing but we came to the conclusion. That means convergence property is obtained. We converge, the solution is converged, and we can stop the iterations. Now at the end of the values, at the end of the iterations, whatever may be the values in our hand, they are nothing but the solution of the equation, all the three. So in that way we will proceed by Gauss-Seidel method. This is generalized explanation for solution of algebraic equations. Same thing we can apply for our load flow problem also. You see, the same expression that we have seen above, this expression, and I said these are there are n number of such equations for n bus system. All these are called as load flow equations for Gauss-Seidel method. So those equations, n number of equations, here n, you see here written I equal to 1 to n. These are n number of equations, they are written here. And based on our previous explanation of Gauss-Seidel method, if they are n number of equations, you see, if we are considering fourth variable v4, we go back here. If we are in the second variable, that is x2, suffix 2, x2, what we can observe from the previous explanation, x1 is fresh value. You can substitute x1 of 1. Why? Because we are calculating x2 means the previous value x1 of 1 is already calculated, fresh value, that we can substitute x1 of 1. But x3 we cannot, we did not calculate it at this point. So for that, assumed value x3 of 0 is to be substituted. Hope you have understand. If we are calculating x2, up to x1 fresh values can be calculated, can be substituted, and beyond x2, that is x3, x4, so on, previous value, that is x3 of 0 values are. Same thing we can check here also. If we are calculating x3, up to x2 we can substitute fresh values. Why? Because x2 is calculated previously, x2 and x1 is also calculated. So we can substitute x1 of 1 and x2 of 1. So that you have to catch. And that is useful here. Same thing is mentioned here. You see, initial values, there are n number of variables, there are n equations, and therefore n number of voltages, V1, V2 up to Vn. So our aim is to calculate all these n variables. And in Gauss-Seidel method, first we will assume some values for these n variables, and those assumed values by us are denoted as V1 of 0, V2 of 0, V3 of 0, so on, V0. These are the initial guess or initial assumption. So with this, now we will start. First V1. V1 means what? First value. So we have not calculated any values yet. So in this expression, for all voltages, we have substituted these initial values only. Why? Because we did not calculate any values. So for V1, substitute in this equation V1 0, V2 0, V3 0, so on, and calculate V1 of 1. So one value is calculated. You see, that is, I am saying that V of 1. Why? Because it is fresh value. By making use of these initial values, we calculated first of all V1 of 1. That is over. Next go for V2. V2. For V2, what I said, if in calculation of V2, in this expression, we can substitute V1 of 1 as already calculated, substitute that fresh value, and remaining V3, V4, so on, only these value, initial value. So like that we can calculate it V2, and this is denoted as V2 of 1. So 2 over V1 over V2 over, that is V1 1, V2 1, V2 1 over. So like that for V3, we can substitute V1 of 1, V2 of 1, that is V1 of 1 and V2 of 1 on these two, because for remaining V3, V4, V5 so on, we have substitute fresh values. Like that we can calculate V3. Like that we can calculate all the variables n, V1 to Vn, and all these variables calculation constitute one iteration. So therefore the values obtained at the end of first iteration are V1 of 1, V2 of 1, V3 of 1, so on up to Vn of 1. This is one iteration over. Next we go for second iteration. Before going to the second iteration, what we have to do? We have to check the difference between the fresh value and previous value. Here the difference is V1 of 1 minus V1 of 0. Next second variable also V2 of 1 minus V2 of 0. So like that for all the bus voltages we have to check the difference of previous iteration and fresh iteration. This difference must be very less. Ideally that difference must be 0, but in the problem iterative process we will not take 0. If you take 0, we will meet with convergence problem. So don't take 0. Instead of that, you select that difference equal to very very less. For example, 0.0001 like that. This value of 0.0001 is to be selected by us, and that is called convergence criterion. If that convergence criterion is met, is satisfied, we can stop the iterative process. So that is the reason why for each iteration we have to check whether the convergence criterion is met or not. If it is not met, we have to go for second iteration. If it is met, we have to stop the iterative process. So like that we will proceed the process. So that is about the process. Now this process whatever we discuss is for load buses. You see here it is mentioned. You see here, as per the discussion, that means if we are calculating V2 of 1, we can substitute V1 of 1 fresh value, and if we are calculating V5 of 1, we can substitute fresh values of up to V4. Note that. You again clearly watch. If we are calculating V5, we can substitute fresh values up to V4. That means V1 of 1, V2 of 1, V3 of 1 and V4 of 1. Remaining are old values, that is 0, V6 0, V7 0, so on. That already told so many times. Based on that, this equation is written like this. You see here Vi of R plus 1. We are calculating ith voltage, and we are in R plus 1th iteration. If that is the case, we can substitute fresh values, same, that means R plus 1, same iteration values, up to what? I minus 1. You see here, summation is I minus. Just now I said if we are calculating V5, up to V4 we can substitute fresh value. So V4 means I minus 1. So up to I minus 1 we can substitute fresh values of bus voltage. beyond that old values. You also observe here, after I minus 1, not I here in the summation, ith term is not there, we jump to I plus 1. Why? Ith term is taken out in the previous expression. In this expression it's a previous discussion. Ith term is here, so ith term is taken out. That is the reason why after I minus 1, not I, we are going to I plus 1 only. So like that we have written this expression. So this and all is to be carefully understood. Don't confuse. If you just go for our previous expression and once again if you see, you can easily understand. By writing this on a paper you can easily understand. So this is the final form, same expression and final form of the for the Gauss-Seidel method. So this, in this, as I said now, you can calculate V1, V2, V3, so on, like that up to Vn, all bus voltages. And this expression and calculation of all bus voltage just now as I explained, that is calculation of all bus voltages. Here we have to substitute these Y's, that means admittances of Y bus matrix, bus voltages all in complex form, that means A plus JB form. So if we substitute and calculate it, this bus voltage will also be a complex value like E plus JF, like that. That means from that complex form we can get bus voltage magnitude and angle also. Both are included in that complex form. So like that all bus voltages magnitude and bus voltage angle. What is the letter we denoted for bus voltage angle? Delta. So all magnitude V's and delta are obtained here in this equation. Like that calculation of all bus voltages and bus angles is over. And you note here that I am mentioning now one new point. Like that the calculation of all bus voltage and angles using this equation is for load buses only. Okay, new point here, load buses only. So the method of calculation of all voltages and angles using this equation, as I explained till now, is applicable for load buses only. If there are generator buses, if there are any generator buses, for example, if one particular bus is generator bus, then the procedure will be slightly different. We know that at generator bus, what we have to do? At generator bus, P and V are given. P, that means real power, and voltage magnitude V are given. We need to calculate Q and delta. Q and delta. So that is the change. Whereas here, so far we discussed P and Q are given, so substitute, we can substitute here. And what we calculated, V and delta from this equation. So that is the case of load buses. P, Q are given, V and delta are to be calculated, and we calculate over. For generator bus, if any one particular bus is generator bus, what we have to do? We have to calculate Q and delta. P and V are given. So as per that requirement we have to go. Again this equation from general load flow equation, what we derived, you see here, this is the, okay. In this equation, as we have to calculate Q is taken on this side and this equation is written in terms of V and Y. Only thing is, as we require Q is determined in this way. You see, from that expression only, that term P and P minus JQA first of all taken this side and remaining this side, and this in this again this V is taken to this side, you see here taken to this side, then this equation P and JQ will be this. In this equation, that means if you do this equation, it's a complex value consisting of both P and Q, we can take our required value Q here. So this is the final expression to get the value of Q. This also obtained from our previous load flow equation of Gauss-Seidel method. For load buses, as we need V, in that expression V is expressed. Now for generator buses, Q is to be calculated, same expression, Q is expressed in terms of other values. So Q is expressed like this. Here also you see Q is nothing but imaginary part of this calculation. Same thing written here. Imaginary part of this expression. Same thing written. And as per our discussion, we know, or we can substitute fresh values of bus voltages up to I minus 1. That means if we are calculating Q5 up to fourth bus, up to fourth bus we can substitute fresh values, and beyond that values we can substitute old values, that we know. So that concept is also introduced, and this equation is written in modified form. You see here K equal to I minus 1, and next K equal to I we are getting. Why? Because here we have not taken ith term separately, as in the case of this expression in voltage V expression. In voltage expression, ith term is here. That is the reason why after I minus 1, not I but I plus 1, we got in this expression. Here we did not do like that. No, ith term is separate. That is the reason why up to I minus 1 fresh values, and next to I minus 1 we are getting I, continuation of series. So next this term. So like that, all those things or points is incorporated, and one expression for Q is obtained. So this equation is used to calculate Q, value of Q for generator bus. Why? Because for generator bus we need to calculate Q. P and V are given. You see, P and V are given. We need to calculate Q. Q and delta we have to calculate. Once Q is calculated from this equation, then you have to again go to this equation. There substitute Q value here. Calculate Q value. Q value is calculated from this expression. You substitute that value here and calculate delta. Delta means bus voltage angle, that is to be obtained from this voltage expression. Calculate the delta value. Okay, so like that, I am again saying, for generator bus P and V are given. So make use of that V, given value of V, and all other assumed values of voltage. First calculate Q. Make use of that Q in this expression and calculate delta, which is nothing but imaginary part of this voltage expression. Voltage here is E plus JV. In that, imaginary part is nothing but delta. Calculate imaginary part, that is delta, from this expression. So like that we have to proceed. In the process of iterative process of Gauss-Seidel method, take each bus. Okay, if it is the load bus, calculate V and delta by making use of this expression, and if it is the generator bus, then first calculate Q and substitute Q value here, calculate delta. Like that we have to proceed. That is the Gauss-Seidel method. Next, like that, if all the buses are taken into account, next is calculation of slack bus power. I think it is sufficient now without going further and inputting you with a lot of data. I'll stop this at this point. Remaining thing I will try to cover in the next video. So what you have to do is just take this material with you and take this video also with you. Just listen to this video 2 to 3 times and try to understand. It's nothing difficult in that, you can easily understand, but try to write the equation on paper and try to understand. If you have any doubts, you can mail me or you can contact me by phone. So for this right now, up to this we'll stop. Next point, next thing that is continuation of this Gauss-Seidel method only, we'll cover in the next video.